Hi there. So if you're watching this video, I'm going to go ahead and assume that you're at the end of your pregnancy, and if you're like me, you're probably going nuts. By the end of my pregnancy, I was already right about 50 pounds over my weight. I was pregnant during the middle of summer. We had a record-breaking summer this year. It was like extremely hot, and as you can imagine, I was so freaking swollen. Like every single part of my body was swollen. It was hard to walk, it was hard to breathe. I was just done. Things for me had gotten so bad that I was at the point where honestly I was miserable being pregnant. I was so happy at the beginning of my pregnancy. Obviously I was really small. We were excited, but once I started gaining weight, which was towards like the end of my 7th month, it just became horrible, and the heat, like I said, was just killing me. And for me, something was telling me that I was ready, that it was time to have the baby. And I would really recommend that if you're considering trying to induce your labor, that you don't really talk to a lot of people about it. Talk to someone that you trust and someone that knows you and understands who you are as a person. For example, like your sister or your mom. Don't go out and ask your friends, because everybody has very mixed emotions about inducing a labor. And so talk to someone that is gonna understand if you're having a really hard time. Like for me, my sisters knew that I was miserable. They know me. They know most of the time I'm active. I'm active. I'm running around. I'm excited. And I was just miserable. They could see it in my face. They recommended I drink the cumin tea. They were buying me cumin, buying me pineapple. It was just, you could tell that I was having a really hard time. Look who decided to join in on the fun. He heard me talking and he was like, "Mom, who are you talking to?" And he woke up. Okay, so as I was saying, I went to Walmart because I knew that they were going to be the one store that first of all was going to be open and was going to have everything that I needed. So I substituted a few things, and then I drank the mixture at about 11:30 or so. I ended up having my first contraction at 1:30, 1:40 in the morning, and I knew it was real. Like I had the Braxton Hicks during the week, and you know, it's really annoying because you get pain and then 2 hours later it goes away. But this time the contraction was so strong, I was like, okay, yeah, like this is the real deal. If just drinking that shake, that mix gave me such a big contraction, like it's happening. And it's actually really good. I liked it. It was just like drinking a smoothie. It was good to me. And then so I started timing out my contractions. First they started at 7 minutes apart, and then that went on for about an hour. And that's when I called my fiance, because they went on to 5 minutes, every 5 minutes. So I called him and I said, "I think this is it. Let's take me to the hospital." And I didn't tell him that I had drank the mixture because first of all, he wasn't gonna understand. He knew how uncomfortable I was, but like I said, there was something within me. I was having so much anxiety. I was feeling so unhappy about being pregnant. Like, how do you explain that to someone? It's only when you're going through it and you realize how hard it is to look at yourself in the mirror and you're so freaking huge, you know. You have to be pregnant and you have to have been going through it to understand how devastating it was for me towards the end. It was bad. So I didn't want to tell him because I didn't want to hear him talk about like, "Oh my god, you shouldn't be doing that." I didn't want his opinion, basically. And then so when he came and he picked me up, he took me to the hospital, and yeah, like I was having legit contractions, and they ended up letting me stay. I was really nervous, guys. I didn't know if I should mention that I had or had not drank the mix, and I didn't mention it to the doctors at all. Like, they didn't notice anything wrong with me. Like, to them, I was having contractions and I was in labor. When they checked me, I was almost 3 centimeters, but my contractions were so close in time. By the time I was in the hospital, they were already at 3 minutes apart. I did get to the hospital like right about 6 in the morning, just while my fiance came home, got dressed, took a shower, and my contractions were bad, but they weren't horrible, so I wasn't really rushing it. And I wanted to make sure that we gave it enough time to make sure that the contractions were gonna stick and not like have me have contractions for 2-3 hours and then go away. So by the time we got to the hospital, which was around 6-7 in the morning, like they were still going pretty strong, so that was a good thing. And then so they decided they were gonna let me stay. So by this time it was already Sunday morning, and I didn't end up having Max until 10:01 of Monday night. And I know it sounds like a really long time, but my son Orlando was not, he's already 10 years old. So I kept asking the doctor, like, oh my God, is it normal? He's taking so long. And you know what he said to me was that since it had been such a huge gap in time since Orlando and Max, that it was normal that my body was taking its sweet time, because it's like if we were pregnant for the very first time still. My body was not used to what was going on, and that's what was causing the delay, which made sense because with my first pregnancy I was in labor for about 22 hours. So okay, so with the mixture, first of all, I did not get diarrhea, which is what I know a lot of women, that's like one of the main concerns, especially because if you do go into labor, the last thing you want is to be having freaking runny diarrhea while you're in the middle of pushing. So no, it does not give you diarrhea. That's the whole point of the juice, the almond butter. It's to, I guess, make sure that you have something in your stomach, something thick. I did not eat anything Saturday evening. I remember I had dinner at around 6 o'clock, so I didn't have anything else to eat. I do remember that I used the restroom once before I went to the hospital, and it was normal, nothing crazy, nothing, no diarrhea, nothing like that. My only recommendation is that if you are under 38 weeks pregnant, you do not try it. I personally would just wait until my baby is considered full term to go ahead and try to provoke the contractions. I did take another half, whatever the mixture requires. I took half of that before I left to the hospital, just because, like, for me, I was already in it. I wasn't gonna come back home. We were gonna have this baby that night, and it happened. I don't know if that just made sure that it pushed me over the edge, and you know, it helped define the fact that I was in labor, because the first mixture did give me contractions. So that other half, I did read that it's not recommended that you take a certain amount. I'm gonna edit it in there once I go back, per 24 hours. So just make sure you stay under that. The castor oil, I found it in the laxative area at Walmart. Overall, for me, it was a great experience. I'll definitely be trying it again if I do decide to get pregnant, and if I'm having the same type of complications as I was towards the end. You know your body, you know where you're at, and I mean, be honest with yourself. Are you being a little bratty, you know, wanting the baby out, or do you really feel like you're done? Like, nothing is gonna help you get back to being happy and joyous about your pregnancy. And that's where I was. Like, I was done. And thank God Max was born perfectly normal. I did have the epidural. This baby was ready to be born, and he was telling his mama, get me out of here. And thank God it all worked, and it all went great. I wish you the best of luck. And if you have any questions, please comment below. I will answer them as soon as I can, and hopefully they can help you make a decision. Just do what's best for you and your baby. I'm so grateful that everything went well for me. Everything happened so fast. My pregnancy seemed towards the end like it was taking forever, and now he's here 4.5 months later. I can't believe it. Time just flew by. Thanks for watching, guys.